Part 13. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is Sweet and Wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 121. Chapter 121. So happy, I want to receive a gift too. Lucien knew that the girl had misunderstood, but he did not explain. It's hard to tell this girl that the reason he didn't sleep well last night was not because of his review, but because he would dream as soon as he closed his eyes last night, and all in his dreams would be her delicate and soft waist. It tortured him all night long. Got it, he said, and then handed Lu Ning a bag, breakfast. In it was food that Ji Shuda had made for the two of them early in the morning, and his portion had already been finished. Following that, he took out another box from behind and handed it to her, and this one, for you. What is this? Lu Ning asked, staring at the box in his hand. Lucien, Children's Day gift. Lu Ning's hand that was about to take it paused for a moment, then raised her eyes and looked at the other person. How do I look like a child? Lucien raised the corners of his lips, looked her up and down and said, I think they look alike. Lucien, you are just like a child. Lu Ning glared at him angrily. She knew that this guy was laughing at her for being short again. It was obvious that she was no longer short, but still a long way from him. Lucien pushed the box into her hand and stroked her head. Okay, I'm kidding you, as long as you're not an adult, you're still a child. Besides, aren't you happy to receive gifts? I want to receive them all. Can't receive it? Lu Ning. Speaking of this, it seems that she is indeed a little ignorant. Lu Ning put the gift box into her school bag and said, Thank you. No need to thank you. This is a reward for your hard work during this period of time to help me review. At this point, he raised his hand and tapped her forehead lightly. Also, Lucien, it's your name too, remember to call me brother from now on. Lu Ning ignored him. I don't know what obsession this man has with his brother. If you want to be a brother so much, why didn't you ask Aunt Ji to give him a sister? Lu Ning thought so, so she asked. Lucien, you know, right? The statement family also has a sister who is 3 or 4 years younger than him. But his sister cries all day long. When she was young, she always liked to follow her brother with a long nose, and the brother and sister, the two always fight, and his sister likes to throw his things when she is angry. One time she even broke one of his limited edition toys. At that time, he felt that it was good not to have a sister. I only met this girl in the elevator later. The little one was cute and soft, and he suddenly felt that it would be nice to have a younger sister. It doesn't matter whether she is biological or not, the key is that the sister must be well behaved and soft enough. She has also met her younger sister Lu Ning, but because she is quite different in age from them, they don't usually play together. When I was in elementary school, I saw him more often, and my only impression was that he was more delicate, just like Lucien, who would cry easily when talking. I met her several times later. The little girl has grown up and doesn't cry often, but she has also become much more fierce. It seems that boys prefer soft girls. At school, when Lu Ning opened her school bag and took out books, she saw the box on the top. In order to make it easier to get the things underneath, she took it out and put it on the table. Jian Nian on the side saw it and couldn't help looking over curiously. Ning Ning, what is this? Children's Day gift, Lu Ning replied casually. End of this chapter. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is Sweet and Wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 122. Chapter 122. The camp I drank was so sweet. Jian Nian's eyes immediately lit up, and there was a gossipy light in her eyes. Who gave it to you? It can't be one of your admirers, right? No, Lu Ning said. That's what the third brother gave me, right? Jian Nian guessed the correct answer at once. Lu Ning turned to look at her. How do you know it was sent by Lucien? Isn't it obvious? Jian Nian said with a smile. If you are not an admirer, then it must be a gift from the third brother. Who doesn't know that the third brother is the best to you? It's not as good as you said. Obviously that guy knew how to bully her. You are so blessed that you don't know how blessed you are. Jian Nian looked at the box on the table, tears of envy almost flowing out. She also wants to have someone who can protect her like her third brother protects Ning Ning. Not only does she fetch water and carry a bag, but also gives gifts during holidays. The important thing is that the other person must be handsome. It's a pity that she can only think about it. Handsome guys are hard to come by, let alone handsome and caring guys. This girl doesn't know if she saved the galaxy in her previous life. By the way, what did third brother give you? Jian Nian's eyes immediately fell on the box again. I don't know, I haven't opened it yet. Lu Ning stared at the box and suddenly thought that the guy didn't have much pocket money left last month, so he prepared a gift for himself. Now I'm afraid I won't have any left in my hand. Thinking about it this way, the other party seems to be really nice to her. Jian Nian urged, open it quickly and take a look to see what good things third brother has given you. Seeing the girl looking at her eagerly, Lu Ning had no choice but to satisfy her curiosity and opened the box, only to find a box of imported chocolate candies inside. This guy really treated her like a child. I don't know how the other party figured out that I like to eat sweets. Jian Nian smiled jokingly, tisk, this candy looks very sweet at first glance. It's so happy, I want to receive a gift too. If you like it, I'll give it to you. Lu Ning directly sent the box of chocolate candies to the other party. No, my third brother gave this to you. I'll take it and figure out what's going on. Jian Nian immediately waved her hand and refused. Envy is envy, but you also know that you can't take things that don't belong to you. But in the end, Lu Ning still gave her some. There was so much sugar that she would probably have a toothache if she ate it alone. Jian Nian peeled off one and stuffed it into her mouth. It's so sweet. I don't know if it's the sweetness from the sugar or the CP I drank. Sweet, so sweet. When school was over in the afternoon, Lu Ning and Jian Nian came out together. As soon as she saw Lu Xian outside, Jian Nian smiled and winked at him and said, third brother, you are such a warm man. Whoever becomes your girlfriend in the future will definitely be happy. Lu Xian knew as soon as he heard it that the other person was talking about gifts. He smiled and said, yeah, I think so too. Lu Ning looked at the other party. This man didn't blush at all. Lu Xian just happened to look towards her, and their eyes met. The latter raised the corners of his lips and asked, how is it? Do you like the gift I gave you? Very good. No matter what, it's the other person's sincerity. Since the other person thinks she likes eating sweets, let him think so. However, I remember that the candy seemed quite expensive. You probably didn't have enough pocket money left last time, right? Lu Ning suddenly changed the subject and asked him about his pocket money. After all, the money had been saved in her hands before, and she was probably not as clear about how much was left than he was. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is sweet and wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 123. Chapter 123. You two act like a young couple. The expression on Lu Xian's face couldn't help but stiffen, and he acted unnaturally for a moment. After a while, he coughed lightly and said, you're not allowed to worry about others borrowing it. There was nothing wrong with him at first, but looking at the other person's appearance, Lu Ning felt that this guy seemed to be hiding something from him. In a flash of lightning, he suddenly thought of a possibility, stared at the other person and said, could you be secretly hiding something in your private room, money? Ahem. Lu Xian instantly choked on his own saliva, feeling embarrassed that he had been exposed. What nonsense are you talking about? How can the money I saved openly be called private money? Jian couldn't help laughing as she listened to the conversation between the two. You two look like a young couple. Lu Ning and Lu Xian's eyes met. The former's cheeks were hot, but the latter was quite satisfied with this title. Lu Ning blushed slightly and said with an unnatural expression, "What nonsense are you talking about? Aunt Ji asked me to take care of this guy's pocket money." "Yes, yes, we all know this." Jian Nian smiled evilly. After all, they had only seen it with their third brother when they were in school and had their pocket money controlled by others. In the future, they would have to strictly control their wives. So, you two should be together. Then you won't have to worry about who is in charge of the family's financial power in the future. You can always take care of his money in the future. You are used to taking care of it anyway. Third brother, you two are used to being controlled. Do you think what I said makes sense? Okay, shut your mouth. Lu Ning glared at her. She shouldn't have come out with this girl. Jian Nian winked at her and said with a smile, "My dear, are you shy?" Lu Ning tried her best to keep a straight face and said, "Don't mess with things. My goal is to go to Nanjing University." Jian Nian said in surprise, "There is no conflict between going to Nanda and your third brother, so the two goals can be pursued at the same time." Seeing that the girl's words were getting more and more outrageous, Lu Ning couldn't help but stretched out his hand to cover her mouth and said, "I told you to read less pornographic books. What are you thinking about all day long?" Although Lu Ning's voice was not loud, some words were quite sensitive, causing people around her to look over. Upon seeing this, Jian Nian immediately pulled the other person's hand from his mouth and defended himself loudly. "Why is it a pornographic book? What I read is clearly a regularly published romance book. It's okay if she doesn't speak, but more people look over her when she speaks." Jian Nian covered her face. "It's over, now my whole life's reputation is completely ruined." Beside the platform. "The bus hasn't come yet." Lu Xian looked at the little girl standing next to him. She was wearing a waist-cinching dress today. She had a slender waist and her exposed calves were smooth and white. Lu Xian couldn't help but think of the delicate and soft feeling on his fingertips last night. A wave of hot air surges up from the body. Lu Xian's eyes flickered, and then he pretended to be casual and said, "I think Jian Nian's proposal is good, what do you think?" "What?" Lu Ning looked at the other party. Facing the other party's dark eyes, Lu Xian's heartbeat accelerated for no reason. Then she pretended to be calm and gently raised her lips towards him and said, "Stay with me. From now on, you can always take care of my money." "Lu Ning, who said I have to take care of your money all the time? It seems that I have to find time to talk to Aunt Ji. From now on, I will still let him take care of his own money. Otherwise, it is not good to start the habit of hiding private money now." End of this chapter. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is Sweet and Wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 124. Chapter 124. I was fed dog food by these two people early in the morning. Time flies so fast, and it's the day of the final exam in a blink of an eye. Early in the morning, Jishu made a sumptuous breakfast for the two of them. Lu Xian looked at the grilled sausages and round poached eggs on the table that remained unchanged for every year's exams. He twitched his lips and said, "Mom, are you blessing us, or are you cursing us? You brat, what nonsense are you talking about so early in the morning?" Jishu placed 2 cups of hot milk in front of the two of them, and then heard the brat's nonsense words. Lu Xian pointed at the 100-point breakfast in front of him that was bulged by his mother and said, "You haven't forgotten that your son is in high school now, right? 100%. Who are you looking down on?" Jishu then remembered that the two children's exams were no longer on a 100-point scale, and felt a little embarrassed for a moment. However, she would not admit that she had forgotten. She glared at her brat and said, "With your current grades, it would be good if you could get 100 points. I call this lowering your expectations, so as not to have too big a gap after the results come out. Lucian, who are you looking down on? Let me tell you, your son today is no longer the son you had yesterday. As soon as he finished speaking, Jishu slapped her the forehead. You hummer, finish your meal for me and go to school quickly. You are the only one who talks a lot, and you don't see that Ning Ning has already eaten almost all the food? What a motherly saying. If you don't even get 100 points in the exam, I will kick you out of the house. Do you believe it? Lucian grimaced in pain. His mother was really cruel. He reached for the breakfast on the table and said, just talk, why are you still doing it? You know I'm taking the exam today and you hit me on the head. If I don't do well, it's all your fault. You brat, I think your skin is itchy. Jishu raised his hand and prepared to slap him again. Lu Yu, who was on the side, had just come out of the bathroom. When he saw this, he immediately stepped forward to stop the other party and said, honey, calm down, the brat has to take the exam later. If you beat someone up, wouldn't this brat find an excuse? Wait. It won't be too late for us to take care of him when he comes back from the exam. Don't worry, if he doesn't do well in the exam, you don't need to do anything. Then you can watch from the side and I will do it. Lucian was fine when he heard the first half, but when he heard the second half, his handsome face turned dark and he twitched his lips and said, Dad, you are really my biological father. Okay, hurry up and go to school. Don't make your mother angry day by day. A good son is not as good as a good wife. Where would you be without your mother? No matter how much you kiss your son, he won't kiss you without your wife. Your mother is the one who wants you. If you dare to make her angry, I will be the first to deal with you, Lu Yu said while winking at him crazily. Come on, I was fed by these two people's dog food early in the morning. He didn't want to eat this breakfast. Lucian casually forked a piece of poached egg and stuffed it into his mouth. He stood up and said to Lu Ning, who had quietly finished the exam meal Jishu had prepared for her, let's go. Coming out of home and waiting for the elevator, Lucian raised his eyebrows at Lu Ning and said, Sister, give me some blessings. Lu Ning gave the other party a question mark face. Lucian, it's not like people say that if you worship the of academics, you will definitely pass every exam. Your blessing from a top student will definitely work. I don't want to be kicked out of the house, so I quickly say a few nice words. Lu Ning. All right, as long as you're happy. End of this chapter. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is Sweet and Wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 125. Chapter 125, It seems that my situation is small. Lu Ning, then I wish you extraordinary performance, and that you will be able to pass all the tests and be correct in all the tests. That's it, Lucian smiled and patted her head, don't worry, I won't let you down. Lu Ning wanted to say that whether he did well or not was entirely up to him. Why should he be disappointed? But looking at the other person's happy mood, forget it, let him do whatever he wants, as long as he is happy. The 3-day exam passed quickly. Lucian came out of the examination room after handing in the test papers, feeling that he had done well in the exam and was in a happy mood. The review that I have been forgetting about food and sleep during this period is still somewhat useful. Anyway, he feels that he has done all the above questions, not to say that he is sure of it, but at least half of it is. The ones who thought they had good answers were Shen Yu and the others. Every time I took an exam in the past, after getting the test paper, I always had the mentality of counting the ones I could get right. This time, because I read the notes of top students before the exam, everyone was full of confidence. I didn't even think about getting high scores in the exam, I just wanted to go home without getting beaten. After coming out of the examination room, everyone was as light as a swallow and their eyebrows were dancing. Even when Shen Yu saw Song Tingzi coming out of the next door, he ran up to him and patted him on the shoulder gratefully, believe in the God of learning and you will have eternal life. It is true that Chinese people do not lie to Chinese people. Thanks to the God of learning this time note, you have saved your brother's life, let's go out and play together another day. Song Tingzi recognized the other person as a classmate who had a good relationship with Lu Ning. Thinking that Lu Ning had said that he wanted it for a friend, he thought it was Shen Yu. However, he was always cold and had no enthusiasm for others. He nodded and said, "I hope I can help you." Shen Yu didn't care at all. They all had a carefree temperament. Moreover, they knew the other person's temperament and would not care about it. He just came over to say hello to the other party, and then withdrew after saying hello. He also made an appointment with Shen Yuan and the others to go to an internet cafe for a few afternoons to have fun. The third brother didn't even play the game for the first month because he had to review. They had no one to guide them, and they were harvested all the time when playing black, and their ranks dropped a lot. The exam has finally been completed, and everyone has agreed to go to the internet cafe to stay up all night. Whoever doesn't go will be the grandson. Lu Ning also received a call from Ms. Tang Li when she came out of the examination room. In addition to caring about how she did in the exam, he also invited her to have dinner at Song's house. "I heard that you guys have finished your exam today. Your uncle Song specially asked Aunt Zhang to cook a lot of dishes. He said that you two have worked hard during the review period and he wanted to make up for you too. After school, you and Ting come together." Got it. Lu Ning had just finished hanging up the phone when she saw Song Tingzi walking over. The latter walked up to her. Just as Lu Ning was about to say something, the other party had already spoken first. "My dad has already called me. Let's go." Lu Ning nodded towards the other party and said, "By the way, thank you for the notes. Your notes were very good and helped my friend a lot." Even if Lu Xian didn't say anything, she would tell Jian Nian and Shen Yu they learned from their mouths that almost half of the example questions in the other party's notes appeared in the test paper. Although the questions are not exactly the same, the types of questions are similar, and the answers can be solved by changing the numbers. Song Tingzi said calmly, "It's nothing. Besides, he already said thank you just now." Lu Ning was stunned for a moment. He had always thought that Lu Xian didn't like Song Tingzi, so even if he borrowed his notes, he was reluctant to do so. He didn't expect that the other party would personally thank him. Lu Ning was quite surprised. "It seems that my own situation has become smaller." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is sweet and wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 126. Chapter 126. What to do, I'm jealous. You've all finished your exams, so you should have a holiday starting tomorrow, right? Tang Li asked Lu Ning, who came back with Song Tingzi, in the Song family living room. "Well, the transcripts will be sent directly to your home by then. There is no need for everyone to go back to school. The vacation will officially start tomorrow," Lu Ning replied. "Do you have any plans during the holiday?" Tang Li asked tentatively. "Do you want to move here? The room on the third floor has just been decorated and ventilated for a while. You can move in directly when you come back this time. Now the entire third floor is yours, and you don't have to worry about others disturbing you. And if you move here, it will be easier for Aunt Zhang and the others to take care of you. What do you think? Or is there any place you want to visit during the summer vacation? Mom may not have time to accompany you. However, I can discuss it with your Uncle Song and arrange for you to go with Tingzi. You two kids can take care of each other when you go out together, and you can also play more comfortably. What do you think?" "Thank you, Mom, but no need," Lu Ning said. "I have already signed up to participate in the summer competition class organized by the school. The school has given us 2 days of rest." We will start going to school next week after we get our transcripts. Tang Li couldn't help but frown when he heard this. Isn't it too hard? Vacations are meant for you to relax. This girl has always been self-disciplined and rarely has to worry about anything, but it is precisely because of this that as a mother, she always felt that she was neglecting her duty. I think it's quite meaningful. It can not only enrich your holiday life, but also learn something without feeling hard, Lu Ning said. Tang Li didn't know what to say after hearing what she said. Although she was reluctant to let this girl work hard, she also knew that the world was harsh on girls, and girls had to work harder than boys. Only if one's own skills are strong enough, one will have more confidence to gain a foothold in society in the future. She could protect her for a while but not for a lifetime. She wanted to learn more, which was a good thing, so she asked, "How about going with Tingzi? I heard that he is also good at studying." "I have no idea." She did not see the other party on the training team list, so she was not sure whether the other party would participate. However, given the other party's grades, if he really wanted to participate, the school would not refuse. Perhaps the other party has other arrangements. What's more, the school has more than one competition class. Tang Liu said to her earnestly, "Although Tingzi's child usually looks a little cold, he looks like a good child. You are the same age, and you can communicate more. Mom doesn't expect you to be like brothers and sisters, but we can get along like friends. Mom is usually busy with work and can't take care of you. He can take care of you for her." Lu Ning held her arm, leaned on her shoulder and said, "What should I do? I'm jealous. In just a short time, he has bought your heart. After a while, will he be the only one in your heart? This later son doesn't have me as his biological daughter." "What are you talking about?" Tang Li feigned anger. Then he stretched out his hand and rubbed her head. "Mom, you will only have one child in this life, and I can't give you a sibling. Mom is afraid that no one will help you when I am an old man in the future. Tingzi's child is good. He is a promising person. If you two get along well, you can take care of each other and rely on each other." End of this chapter. The School Sweetheart. Soft green plum is sweet and wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 127. Chapter 127. Becoming her support. Lu Ning knew that her mother was worried about her future, and she couldn't help but feel soft. She raised her head and looked at the other party and said, "Mom is not very old now. Medical science is so advanced now that she can consider having a younger brother with Uncle Song's sister. You don't have to worry about me, I don't care." Tang Li smiled and said, "Forget it, my mother can't even take care of you, so how can she have the energy to have another one? I made an agreement with your Uncle Song, it's enough to have you and Tingzi in this life. I don't plan to have any more children. As long as I can take care of you and see you start a family and start a business, your Uncle Song and I will have completed our mission in life. It will be good to travel around when we are old." However, the fact that this girl can say this also shows that she really accepts this relationship. She is still very happy. Lu Ning leaned against her. "I have always heard that when parents love their children, they have far-reaching plans." At this moment, she saw these words from Tang Li. Ms. Tang Li is worried about her future. "Don't worry, I will get along well with him," she said. Although Song Tingzi seems difficult to get close to, he is not a particularly difficult person to get along with. She thought that even if the two couldn't become friends, their relationship wouldn't be too bad. At worst, she would be more proactive in the future, just to reassure Ms. Tang Li. After chatting with Ms. Tang Li for a while, Lu Ning decided to go to the third floor to take a look. The third floor has been decorated for some time. After Tang Li decided on the soft furnishings, Song Wanzhou took the time to go to the furniture market to select them himself. Although all environmentally friendly materials were used, she was still worried about pollution from the decoration, and Lu Ning was not in a hurry to move in, so she left it to ventilate for a while. Now I can feel free to move in. The whole decoration is very girly at first glance. The walls are not painted in popular pink, but in a light lotus color. It is a bit purple romantic and a bit sweet and bright. At first glance, it looks like a girl's room. The furniture and furnishings were also chosen in Lu Ning's favorite colors. It was obvious that the two of them had put a lot of thought into the layout of this room, which was even better than her previous room. Lu Ning is not an ungrateful person. For Song Wanzhou to decorate this room with such care, it can be seen that he really cares about his mother and loves her very much. Lu Ning thought that maybe one day, she could really regard this place as her home. Coming down from the third floor, I happened to bump into Song Tingzi when passing by the second floor. Lu Ning took the initiative to stop and talk to the other party. Do you have any plans for the summer vacation? Number 1 Middle School arranges competition training classes every winter and summer vacation. I think with your results, you can give it a try. Although participating in the competition will waste some time, but it is another way out, and there will be extra points for the college entrance examination. Although you may not be able to use it, it is always a good choice. Do you want to consider giving it a try? The head teacher has talked to me before, Song Tingzi said. I just haven't decided yet whether I want to participate. Well, number 1 middle school has a certain number of recommended places every year. Among them, competitive students are more likely to qualify for recommendation. I think you can give it a try first. There are still 2 years left in high school. If you don't like it, it's not too late to give up, of course. Based on the opponent's current performance, if he can maintain it, it will not be difficult to get into a good school even if he does not participate in the competition. End of this chapter. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is Sweet and Wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 128. Chapter 128. Are you so concerned about me? Song Tingzi looked at her and said, Thank you, I will think about it carefully. He could feel the change in Lu Ning's attitude towards him. The two of them had always been indifferent to each other before. Although they were not deliberately distant, they were not close either. This is the first time the other party takes the initiative to show goodwill. Song Tingzi could detect it, but didn't know the reason. Could it be that his notes helped her friend? She should be a good person to her friends, right? Lu Xian and Shen Yu went to the internet cafe as soon as their exams were over, stayed there all night, and slept until the afternoon the next day. Because Ji Shu and Lu Yu both went out to work, and no one cared about him, he woke up hungry on his own. After yawning, she started sending a message to Lu Ning, Sister, is there anything to eat? Lu Ning was reading a book when her cell phone on the table suddenly lit up. Seeing the message from Lu Xian on the screen, Lu Ning picked up the phone and texted the other party, You didn't just wake up, right? Lu Xian, yeah. If you have any food over there, send me some quickly. Lu Ning, no, I can't give it away if I have it, I'm at the Song family. Lu Xian played a video and couldn't wait to speak as soon as the call was connected. Why did you go over there again? Are you planning to stay there during the holidays? Lu Ning, yes, is there any problem? No problem, it's just that when you're not here, I'm bored at home alone, and I can't even find a company to eat with, Lu Xian said lazily, leaning on the pillow. I was not here last night, so you had a lot of fun. This person's holiday life was very rich. Lu Ning didn't think her absence would have any impact on him, otherwise he wouldn't have remembered her until now. Okay, I won't tell you anymore, I'll go get some food first. Lu Xian couldn't stand up to the girl, so he got up from the bed and said. Hey Lu Ning stopped the other party, don't eat instant noodles, order takeout. Although takeout is not nutritious, it is better than eating instant noodles all the time. Aunt Ji and Uncle Lu have to go to work, and there is no one to cook at home. With this guy's temperament, he probably knows how to eat instant noodles. Got it, Lu Xian responded. but when I thought about having to wait for half an hour for takeout, it was faster to eat instant noodles. What's more, after eating so much, I didn't miss this meal. As soon as the noodles were cooked and ready to be eaten, the screen of the mobile phone lit up. Lu Ning looked at Lucian, who was holding instant noodles in front of the screen and was about to eat, and said, "I knew you would definitely eat instant noodles. I've already ordered delicious food for you and ordered an express meal. It will be ready in about 10 minutes delivered." Lucian looked at her from the corner of his eyes and said with a smile, "Are you so concerned about brother?" "Lu Ning, I do it for the sake of Aunt Ji and Uncle Lu. I don't want them to have to take care of a son who is in poor health when they get old." "Bah, bah, bah," Lucian said immediately, "what are you talking about? My body is in very good shape. There is no problem in living to 70 or 80 years old. Okay, I'm going to read a book." Lu Ning was too lazy to listen to the other party's talk. "Wait, when are you coming back?" "I'll pick you up," Lucian called to the other party. "No, I plan to stay here with my mother for a few days," Lu Ning said. "Okay, it's not good to disturb other people's mother-daughter reunion. Anyway, this girl will always move back after a while." At this time the doorbell rang. "Your takeout should have arrived, go get it quickly." "I'm hanging up." Lu Ning ended the call after saying this. Feeling a little thirsty, I got up and went downstairs to get some water. Meet Song Tingzi downstairs. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is sweet and wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 129. Chapter 129. Not everyone can be a friend. I had a phone call with the class teacher last night and decided to join the competition class to try. Song Tingzi looked at her and said slowly, "Well, then let's work together." Lu Ning was not surprised that he would make a decision so quickly. After all, joining the competition class was not a bad thing. At best, it's just a waste of time. Soon, it was the day when the competition class started. The final results this time were also released the day before. Lu Ning's score was about the same as she had expected. This time she still got second place, and Song Tingzi was still first in grade. Looking at the gap between the two on the scoreboard, Lu Ning frowned secretly. "Looks like we need to work harder." However, as far as she knew, Song Tingzi chose science. In the next exam, their rankings will no longer appear on the same list. After reading his results, Lu Ning started to read down again. When he saw Lucian ranked 159th, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. That guy did better than she expected, which shows that the hard work during this period was not in vain. In addition, Jian Nian, Shen Yu, and the others also did well in the exam. Although they did not enter the top 200 like Lucian, everyone has made significant progress, at least enough to cope with the parents' test. Vacation life should not be too bleak. Lu Ning has been staying at the Song family these days, so she went to the competition class with Song Tingzi. There are a total of 12 people in their competition class. Some have been participating in competitions since junior high school, and some, like Lu Ning, only met after high school. Everyone is from different classes. Although they may have met each other in school before, none of them are familiar. At first glance, they all look unfamiliar. As soon as Lu Ning and Song Tingzi appeared, they immediately attracted the attention of others. One of these two came first and the other came second in this final exam. The man is handsome and the woman is pretty. No matter which one goes alone, they are attractive, let alone the two appearing together. For a time, everyone's attention was focused on the two of them. The teacher in charge of the competition class hadn't arrived yet, so the two of them found a place to sit down at random. Since there are few people, it doesn't matter where you sit. At this moment, The girl in the front row turned her head. The girl's eyes first glanced at Lu Ning, then looked at Song Tingzi beside her, and took the initiative to say hello, my name is Yu Shu, I used to be in class 1, grade 1. I heard that you chose science in different classes, which happened to be, me too, there is a high probability that we will become classmates next semester. Hello. Song Tingzi just nodded towards the other party, not very enthusiastic about this girl who might become his classmate in the future. Lu Ning had heard of the girl's name. Before Song Tingzi transferred to another school, she and Lu Ning had always competed for the first and second place in the grade. However, in the recent exams, my performance has declined slightly. It cannot be said that it is not bad, but it is just a little bit worse than before. Overall, it remains in the top 5 in grade. This time, the final ranking was only behind Lu Ning, and only 3 points lower than Lu Ning. The girl probably knew Song Tingzi's character before, so she didn't feel embarrassed at all and turned her head away naturally. As for Lu Ning, the other party had no intention of saying hello at all. Of course, Lu Ning didn't care either. She is just here to participate in the training camp, not to build relationships with classmates. She doesn't care about other people's attitudes towards her. Not everyone in this world can be her friend. Lu Ning. At this moment, a boy's excited voice was heard from the other side of her. End of this chapter. The School Sweetheart Soft Green Plum is Sweet and Wild. Author, Pearfish. Chapter 130. Chapter 130. What do you think is wrong with me? Lu Ning turned around and saw a boy wearing glasses. He looked familiar, but he couldn't name him. When the boy saw her reaction, he couldn't help but a trace of disappointment flashed across his face. Don't you remember me? I wrote you a confession letter before, that time in front of the canteen. Lu Ning remembered that the boy whose letter was taken away by Lu Xian last time seemed to be the one in front of him. My name is Sun Baran. I wrote it in my letter to you before. Didn't you read it carefully? The boy reminded her hard. Lu Ning didn't see the content of the letter at all, so naturally she didn't know what he wrote in it. Sorry, I don't remember, she said. The boy's eyes suddenly became more disappointed, but he quickly cheered up again and said, it doesn't matter if you don't remember. I didn't expect you to also sign up for the competition class, which also shows that the two of us are destined. And last time, it wasn't because I was afraid of Lu Xian I just gave up. I just don't want to conflict with each other in school, but now it's okay, as long as we win the prize in the competition, we can be admitted to the same university. You wait for me. Lu Ning frowned and interrupted, I'm sorry, I remember telling you last time that I don't plan to fall in love prematurely. It doesn't matter, I will wait for you. We can wait until after college to be together, the boy said hurriedly. Lu Ning, you may not understand what I mean. I mean, I don't like you, so it's impossible for the two of us to be together. The boy was startled for a moment, and seemed a little hard to accept. Why? What do you think is wrong with me? Although my grades are not as good as yours, they are not bad either. Moreover, my parents are both university teachers and have stable jobs. They are easy to talk to at work. And they all like smart and motivated students like you. Even if they find out about our relationship, they will not come to trouble you. Also, I asked about it. Listen. You say you are a single parent family, but it doesn't matter. I won't dislike you. By the way, is it because of Lu Xian that you don't dare to be with me? No more for you. Lu Ning was a little irritable for no reason. Even though she considered herself to have a good temper, she couldn't help but want to use foul language. Where did the other party come from with this SB thing? Could it be that reading has damaged your brain? Are you done? Lu Ning ran out of patience and interrupted the other party coldly. First, whether your grades are good or not, or what your parents are like has nothing to do with me. Second, whether I am a single-parent family is my business and you don't need to worry about it. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with a single-parent family, and it's not your turn to dislike it. The boy probably realized that he had said something wrong. He blushed and hurriedly explained, "You misunderstood, I didn't mean it that way." "Whether it's a misunderstanding or not, it doesn't matter," Lu Ning said, "I haven't finished what I said. Third, I didn't reject you because of Lucian. This matter has nothing to do with him. I simply don't like you, so I rejected you. Yes, do you understand?" The boy was stunned, obviously unable to accept the fact that Lu Ning didn't like him. After regaining consciousness, he still wanted to speak. "What's wrong?" At this time, Song Tingzi turned around and looked over. Lu Ning shook her head. The boy looked at Song Tingzi and suddenly thought of a possibility. He looked at her with a look of resentment and said, "Did you reject me because you like him?" End of this chapter.